Designing better slides for 5-minute talks. This short presentation is a practical guide to slide design for your major assignment 4 narrated briefing. We'll cover why visual design matters, the most common mistakes to avoid, some concrete best practices, and then walk you through a before and after example. By the end, you'll have a clear checklist of principles you can apply directly to your own presentation slides. Why visual design matters. Your slides do 3 things when they're working well. They build your credibility and clarity. A professional, well organized slide deck signals to your audience that you've taken the work seriously. They help your audience retain what you're saying. Research on cognitive load consistently shows that people remember more when visual and verbal information reinforce each other rather than compete. And they support your message without overshadowing it. That last point is the one most presenters get wrong. Slides are not the presentation, you are. The slides are there to anchor your audience's attention and highlight your key points, not to carry the full weight of your argument. The moment your audience is reading your slides instead of listening to you, you've lost the room. Avoid these design mistakes. The 4 images on this slide illustrate 4 of the most common slide design mistakes, and you've probably seen all of them. Walls of text, slides that are essentially paragraphs, force your audience to read and listen at the same time, and they'll almost always choose reading, which means they stop hearing you. Low contrast colors make text difficult to read, especially on different screens and projectors. Overused or inconsistent fonts signal a lack of attention to detail and create visual noise that distracts from your content. And cluttered layouts, too many images, too many elements, no clear visual hierarchy, leave your audience unsure where to look. Each of these mistakes has the same root cause, trying to put too much on a single slide. The fix is the same in every case. Cut. Best practices. Trent University's academic communication guidelines give us 4 clean rules that apply directly to your major assignment 4 presentation. Limit text to 5 to 7 words per bullet point. That's a tight constraint, but it forces you to distill each point to its essence and trust your narration to do the explaining. 1 idea per slide. This is perhaps the single most important rule in this whole presentation. If you find yourself writing a second point on a slide, ask whether it deserves its own slide. Consistent fonts and colors throughout. Pick your theme and stick to it. Visual consistency creates a sense of coherence and professionalism. And white space is essential. Empty space on a slide is not wasted space. It gives your audience's eyes a place to rest and directs their attention to what matters. Presentation Zen, core principles. Gar Reynolds' book Presentation Zen gives us a framework of 4 principles that are worth committing to memory. 1 is simplicity. Less really is more. Every element on a slide should earn its place. If it's not making your point clearer, it's making it harder. Story is another one. Your presentation should have a beginning, a middle, and an end, a problem established, a solution developed, and a clear conclusion reached. Your audience should feel the arc of your argument, not just receive a list of facts. Another is visual impact. Aim for 1 strong, relevant image per slide rather than multiple decorative elements competing for attention. And finally, minimal text. Keywords and phrases only. Your slides are the outline, your voice is the essay. Before versus after. Here's what these principles look like in practice. The box on the left shows a set of common mistakes: full sentences, clutter, Comic Sans font, and random clip art. Each of those choices individually undermines credibility. Together, they make the slide nearly unusable as a communication tool. The box on the right shows the revised version: 3 to 5 keywords, a clean layout, low contrast corrected to high contrast, a professional font, and a single high resolution image. Notice how much easier it is to scan the revised slide. You can take it in at a glance and immediately understand what the point is, which means you can spend your attention listening rather than reading. That's the goal. Here's a challenge to try on your own before you build your major assignment 4 slides. The Google Doc linked on this slide contains a set of bad slides, slides with common design problems. Open the document, pick one slide, and spend 5 minutes diagnosing what's wrong with it and how you would redesign it. You don't need to actually rebuild the slide. Just think through what principles from this presentation apply and what changes you'd make. This kind of critical analysis is what develops design intuition. Once you can see the problems clearly in someone else's work, you'll start catching them in your own. Here are 4 things to carry into your own presentation design. Avoid clutter and embrace simplicity. When in doubt, cut. Use slides to support your talk, not to replace it. Your voice carries the argument. The slides frame it. Tell a visual story, one concept at a time. Each slide should advance the narrative, not pause it. And practice redesigning. Look at your slides critically. Ask whether each one is doing its job and be willing to restructure. Design intuition is a skill you build by making deliberate choices and then evaluating whether they worked. Here's how to put all of this into practice for your major assignment 4 presentation. Start with an outline in Word or Google Docs. Use heading styles because PowerPoint can import that outline directly into slides, which saves you a lot of formatting time. Then redesign your slides using the principles we've just covered: minimal text, one idea per slide, consistent theme, generous white space. Record your narration slide by slide in PowerPoint. Doing it one slide at a time means you can re-record individual slides without starting over if you stumble or want to revise. Once you're satisfied with the recording, play it back in full and check the total time. If it's over 5 minutes, trim your scripts and re-record. Then export to MP4. In PowerPoint, you would go to File, then Export, and there should be an option to export as, and they have a whole list of file formats, and you would choose MP4. And upload it and submit by the due date on Canvas.